say a board was making a decision to make a change at the CEO level at Disney, that they might estimate.
Seeing yourself for the first time in full Snow White drag.
I love that description. It's perfect.
Hi, this is Eileen. In what is shaping up to be Disney's most dramatic crisis in recent memory, CEO Bob Iger finds himself at the center of a storm no one could have predicted. The Snow White remake, once seen as a guaranteed success, has now evolved into what industry insiders are calling a potential disaster of unprecedented proportions. To understand how we got here, we need to examine the full scope of events that led to this shocking turn of events. It all began with what seemed like a standard casting announcement. Disney had chosen Rachel Zegler to portray the iconic role of Snow White, a decision that initially garnered mixed reactions from fans. However, no one could have foreseen how the situation would spiral into what could become Disney's biggest crisis since the company's founding. The controversy that followed has shaken the very foundation of Disney's live-action remake strategy. As we delve deeper into this developing situation, multiple sources within Disney have revealed that the company is facing what can only be described as a perfect storm of challenges. The first signs of trouble surfaced during early test screenings, which reportedly produced results that sent shockwaves through Disney's executive offices. These screenings, which typically help studios gauge audience reactions, revealed issues that went far beyond typical feedback. But the situation truly exploded when Rachel Zegler's social media comments about the original Snow White story.
But we bring to China a type of ideology, admittedly a relatively benign one as it relates to politics in China, but still a Western ideology. And in many ways, that had value to them because I think they wanted to prove that they were not as...
The situation escalated rapidly when Rachel Zegler's comments began circulating online. Her statements, which questioned fundamental elements of the classic Snow White tale, sparked an immediate and overwhelming backlash that Disney seemed woefully unprepared to handle. The response from fans was swift and unprecedented, leading to a social media firestorm that forced Disney into full damage control mode. What makes this crisis particularly unique is the direct involvement of Bob Iger. Sources close to the situation reveal that Iger, who typically takes a more hands-off approach to individual projects, has become personally invested in managing this unfolding disaster. His recent statement, which was intended to calm the storm, instead only intensified the controversy. In his remarks, Iger made several admissions that have added fuel to the fire. He confirmed that the new Snow White would dramatically deviate from both the original Brothers Grimm tale and Disney's 1937 animated classic. This revelation has raised serious concerns about Disney's approach to its most beloved properties and their understanding of what resonates with their core audience. Perhaps most troubling for Disney shareholders is the announcement of extensive reshoots scheduled for December. These are not minor adjustments, but major changes, with experts suggesting that these reshoots could cost Disney tens of millions of dollars.
When a creator has pitched you a great story and you've given them the ability to go out and tell that story, you've given them the resources, the money, the tools, the place to tell that story, that story.
The timing of these reshoots has cast serious doubt on the film's planned March 2025 release date. Behind the scenes, the situation appears even more chaotic than what has been publicly reported. Multiple sources have confirmed that Disney's board of directors is experiencing unprecedented internal conflict over how to handle the crisis. Some board members are pushing for complete transparency with shareholders and the public, while others advocate for a more aggressive damage control strategy. The impact of this crisis extends far beyond Snow White. Industry analysts are now questioning Disney's entire approach to live-action remakes. The company has invested billions in this strategy, with numerous projects at various stages of development. The success or failure of Snow White could have a ripple effect, potentially determining the fate of these future productions. What's particularly revealing is how this situation has exposed deeper issues within Disney's corporate structure. The internal conflict between different factions in the company has become increasingly visible. Some executives are pushing for a return to traditional storytelling, while others advocate for more modern reinterpretations of classic tales. The financial implications of this crisis are impossible to ignore. Disney's stock price has already shown signs of sensitivity to news surrounding Snow White, and analysts are beginning to factor the film's potential box office performance into their projections for the company's 2025 fiscal year. Some experts suggest that if the film underperforms, it could significantly impact Disney's overall financial outlook.
Yeah, no, I'm glad nobody thinks to me, that's for sure.
Yeah.
West Side Story was your first movie, right? That's
Yeah.
and you I mean, this is a crazy job to have. Was this, you had jobs before?
I mean, surprisingly, right? Because I did it.
Adding to the complexity of the situation is the international dimension of this crisis. Disney has traditionally relied heavily on global markets, particularly China, for the success of its live-action remakes. However, early indicators suggest that the controversy surrounding Snow White could significantly harm its international appeal. Multiple sources indicate that Chinese social media reactions to the film have been overwhelmingly negative, which could have serious implications for its global box office performance. The reshoot schedule itself has also become a point of contention. With December reshoots requiring work through the holiday season, tensions are reportedly rising among the film's crew and production team. Sources suggest that these reshoots will focus on fundamental story changes rather than just technical adjustments, a sign that there are deep concerns about the film's current direction. Industry veterans are drawing parallels to other troubled Disney projects, particularly The Acolyte, which underperformed. However, many argue that Snow White's situation is fundamentally different due to the iconic status of the property and its central importance to Disney's brand identity. The stakes are much higher, and the potential for long-term brand damage is significantly greater. What is particularly revealing is how this crisis has strained Disney's relationships with talent agencies and creative professionals in Hollywood. Sources indicate that several high-profile directors and actors are now hesitant to work on Disney's live-action remakes, fearing similar controversies and public scrutiny. Additionally, the marketing challenges facing Disney are becoming increasingly daunting, as the negative response has already begun to shape public perceptions before the film's release. The editor-in-chief at Warner Bros. Designed Hercules as designed for more pleasurable and informative viewing experiences.
Goodbye that I feel like I mourned the wrath of Snow White while I was in the middle of kind of getting my bearings on the Hunger Games set. But there's a massive pressure that you place on yourself when you're stepping into shoes like that, and also...
She paused. Traditional promotional strategies may prove ineffective given the current public sentiment. Industry experts suggest that Disney may need to completely reinvent its marketing approach for Snow White, which could lead to additional costs and complications. On a broader scale, this situation has sparked intense debate about the future of remake culture in Hollywood. Many industry professionals are questioning whether the era of live-action remakes is coming to an end, with Snow White potentially marking a turning point in this trend. The impact on Disney's streaming strategy is also significant. Sources suggest that internal discussions are underway about the possibility of releasing Snow White directly on Disney+, though this would mark a dramatic shift from the company's current approach of theatrical releases. This decision could have substantial financial and brand implications. Furthermore, the crisis has affected Disney's relationships with its merchandise partners. Several sources indicate that major retailers have expressed concern over the potential performance of Snow White products, leading to reduced orders and scaled-back promotional plans. What makes this crisis particularly significant is its timing, as Bob Iger's tenure as CEO is set to end in 2026. The success or failure of Snow White could profoundly impact his legacy and influence the selection of his successor. Industry insiders suggest that how this crisis is handled could set the tone for Disney's leadership for years to come. Equally revealing is the response from Disney's creative community. Several former Disney animators and creative professionals have weighed in, expressing concerns over the direction the company is taking. Their reactions highlight growing unease about the future of Disney's creative vision.
And my advice to them was to not hear the noise as much, to continue doing the job that we've entrusted them to do, right? Which is to tell the truth, to state the facts, to present the news.
Many former Disney animators and creative professionals have spoken out about the situation, expressing concern about the company's current direction and its handling of classic properties. Another fascinating aspect of this crisis is its impact on Disney's theme park operations. Sources within the company reveal that extensive discussions are taking place regarding how to handle Snow White-themed attractions and experiences at the parks, particularly if the film proves controversial upon release. The technological aspects of the production have also come under scrutiny. Sources suggest that the December reshoots will involve significant visual effects work, potentially creating additional challenges in meeting the planned release deadline. The visual effects industry is already under significant strain, and tracking these changes could prove both expensive and logistically complicated. The crisis has even begun to affect Disney's relationships with music producers and composers. The film's musical elements, which were supposed to be a major selling point, are now reportedly being re-evaluated as part of the reshoot process, This has created complications with recording schedules and musical production timelines. Looking at the broader entertainment landscape, this situation has sent ripple effects throughout the industry. Other studios are reportedly re-evaluating their own remake projects, carefully considering the lessons learned from Disney's current crisis. The international distribution landscape for Snow White has also become increasingly complex. Several international distributors have expressed concerns about the film's potential performance in their markets, leading to complicated negotiations about release strategies and marketing support. This was not the only difficulty. The situation has also affected Disney's relationship with theater chains, which are now reassessing their willingness to support the film, given the ongoing controversy.
Anything that has to do with technology creating opportunity for us, I find very enjoyable. The creative process at its highest level is at times frustrating, but often, and fortunately for us, really enjoyable. So when you see it,
Major exhibitors are closely monitoring developments, with some expressing concern about the film's ability to attract audiences given the ongoing controversy. This has led to complex discussions regarding screening commitments and promotional support. Industry analysts are particularly interested in how this situation might affect Disney's long-term strategic planning. The company has numerous live-action remakes in various stages of development, and the outcome of the Snow White crisis could prompt significant changes in how these projects are approached. Recently, Matiko Spotlight has been the global face promoting the concept. The response from Disney's animation community has been particularly notable. Several current and former Disney animators have shared their concerns, particularly about how modern reinterpretations might affect the legacy of the studio's classic animated films. The crisis has also begun to influence Disney's talent development strategies. Sources indicate that the company is re-evaluating its approach to casting and talent selection for future projects, especially in how it handles social media presence and public statements from key figures. From a financial perspective, analysts are particularly concerned about the potential impact on Disney's merchandising revenue. The company has traditionally relied heavily on princess-themed merchandise, and any damage to the Snow White brand could have long-lasting effects on this important revenue stream. Furthermore, the situation has created challenges for Disney's international operations. With different cultural contexts and audience expectations, it has become increasingly difficult to create a version of Snow White that resonates across all global markets.
Like seeing yourself for the first time in full Snow White drag.
I love that description. It's perfect. Oh my god, well, when you get to wear Sandy Powell, first of all, insane. And then you get to be lit by Mandy Walker, and Nadia Stacey designed your hair and makeup.
It's clear that Disney faces a challenge in succeeding globally while maintaining its current creative direction. Industry experts are closely watching how this crisis might affect Disney's relationship with creative talent. The way the situation is handled could influence the company's ability to attract top directors, writers, and actors for future projects, especially for live-action remakes. The technical challenges surrounding the December reshoot have become increasingly apparent. Sources indicate that coordinating resources, ranging from visual effects teams to sound stages, has proven particularly difficult due to the timing during the holiday season and ongoing industry-wide resource constraints. The crisis has also strained Disney's relationship with its advertising partners. Several major brands that had planned tie-in campaigns with Snow White are reportedly reconsidering their involvement, adding more complications to Disney's already complex marketing strategy. Looking at the broader entertainment landscape, this situation has sparked intense debate about the future of family entertainment. Industry professionals are questioning how studios can balance modern sensibilities with the preservation of classic storytelling, all while maintaining broad audience appeal. The impact on Disney's corporate culture has been significant. Sources suggest that the crisis has led to increased tension between departments and divisions, particularly concerning public relations and marketing strategies. The situation has also affected how Disney approaches its internal decision-making processes, creating a more fragmented atmosphere as the company grapples with these unprecedented challenges.
The board was making a decision to make a change at CEO level at Disney, but they might have to step back.
And you say to her,
And I said to Willow, I'm getting this call. It's possible that they're back. She immediately said, well, maybe not.
Disney's relationship with theater chains is under intense scrutiny, with major exhibitors closely monitoring developments. Some have expressed concerns about the film's ability to draw audiences, given the ongoing controversy. This has led to complex discussions regarding screening commitments and promotional support as the future unfolds. It's evident that the outcome of this crisis will have far-reaching consequences for Disney and the broader entertainment industry. The decisions made in the coming weeks and months could reshape how major studios approach beloved properties and engage with their audiences. The nerds were resigning from Disney Plus after unsuccessfully challenging its viewership share. The response from the creative community has been telling. Many industry professionals are watching closely to see how Disney handles this situation, as it could set a precedent for addressing similar challenges in the future. What makes this situation particularly unique is its potential to influence the entire entertainment industry's approach to remakes and adaptations. The lessons learned from this crisis could reshape how studios handle similar projects for years to come. Looking toward the immediate future, the December reshoot will be crucial in determining the film's fate. Sources suggest that Disney is prepared to make significant changes to address concerns, though whether these changes will be enough to salvage the project remains uncertain. As this situation continues to unfold, one thing is clear: its outcome will likely have lasting implications for Disney's approach to its classic properties and overall business strategy. The coming months will be critical not only in determining the fate of Snow White, but also the future direction of one of entertainment's most iconic companies. The industry will be watching closely as the situation progresses, particularly as we approach the pivotal December reshoot period. The decisions made during this time could have far-reaching implications for how major studios approach similar projects in the future. In conclusion, what began as a seemingly straightforward remake has evolved into a crisis that could reshape Disney's entire approach to its classic properties. As we move forward, the industry will be watching closely to see how this situation resolves and what lessons can be learned from this unprecedented challenge facing one of entertainment's most powerful companies.